Good morning, Stitchers. It is Dee Stitcher here. I am here to do the Teresa Tag. I know it's a bit late, but I've been busy. My husband just went back to work today. He's been on holidays, so I don't typically do videos when he's home. So, he's at work. It is 8:45. The kids will be up soon, so I thought I would sneak in this tag. Here's Teresa here. I'm just going to scroll down and get the pictures. Or the questions. And I'm going to show you as I do it because I'm not really suitable for camera viewing. Okay, so question 1. Does the seasons affect you? I'm just going to try and scroll over here. This is my view right now. Do the seasons affect me? I stitch all year round. I would say I probably stitch more during the school season just because the kids are in school. In September I'll have 2 in school and then I'll just have the little one at home. But I find that I stitch more then because I stitch after she gets on the bus. And then they go to bed earlier, so I have more time. And then in the summertime we're going on holidays and stuff, so I don't really stitch all that much when we go on holidays. I take a project, but I don't stitch nearly as much. So I'd say I stitch more during the school season than in the summer holidays. Question 2. Do you prefer to stitch with a lap stand, on a floor stand, or in hand? Sorry. I do all of them, actually. This is my floor stand. So I stitch on this probably 80% of the time. I just switch projects and frames. And that there is my quantum frame, which is my favorite frame that I own. It's very similar to the Millennium frame. And then this is my Q-snap. I also have this, which is a little lap stand. It's like a Q-snap, except it's on a frame like that. It's not being used right now. But I also stitch in hand. No frames at all, just stitching in my hand. On a couple of projects I do that for. Number 3. Do you prefer to stitch with a hoop, a Q-snap, or a frame, or in hand? I prefer to use my quantum frame there. But sometimes it's actually just easier to just pick up a project, such as my Sal sampler, and just stitch it in hand. Do you use a stitching light or no additional lighting? Well, I'm surrounded by light right here. So right now I'm not using any additional lighting. But I do have this light here that is hooked up to my desk, and then it shines down on my project. I don't need it right now, but it gives off good light. And then I also have, it's over by the couch, so I'm not going to take you over there. But I also have this light here, and I often use this one in the evening when I'm stitching over by the couch in the evening. French. And I also take this to my retreats as well because you stitch all day and night at a retreat. So it's a 3-way magnifier floor lamp. You can clamp it or you can have it on a floor stand, and it's also got a battery pack so you don't have to plug it in if you don't want. So I use this sometimes. I don't use the magnifier because I don't need the magnifier yet. Which is number 5. Do you use a magnifier? Not yet, but I do have one for when I do need it. So I'll just put that away. Question 6. Do you stitch one-handed or two-handed or both? I do both. Of course, when I'm using this, I do two-handed, and when I'm stitching in hand with just my fabric, then of course I stitch one-handed. I prefer two-handed because you go twice as fast. Do you prefer to stitch alone in a quiet place or with family? I stitch with my family. This is in my dining room, and it's all open. So over here is and then there's the living room. and then the kitchen's just over here. So I'm in the open, and I have to be because my kids. I can't go into a room and stitch by myself. I need to be with my kids. The only alone time is like right now in the morning or in the evening. Well, I'll stitch with my husband in the evening while he reads or whatever. What is your preferred fabric and what your preferred count? For 8 of fabric, I prefer 18 or 20 count. This is 18 count because I want it to be a substantial size. But I actually prefer 20 count. That's my favorite because it's, I don't know, it's just, I love it. And for even weave, I like 28 count. Even weave. I stitch on linen, but I prefer even weave. In your time stitching, have you ever lost your stitchy bug? And if so, how many times have you lost it and how did you get it back? I have been stitching continuously since 2009, I think. And I haven't lost my stitchy bug since. But my key is to have a variety of projects on the go. And not all heeds and not all, big projects. I like to have a variety of different projects, monochromes, my big, large-scale, full-cross ones, and, little ones. I like to have a variety with different color schemes, so it keeps my interest in that no matter what I feel like, I always have something to stitch. Do you travel and stitch, or do you travel on public transport? I don't take public transport because I live out in the country and there's no public transport out here. Do I stitch? I stitch in the vehicle when we go on holidays. Like when we go to BC or when we go to Manitoba, I stitch in the car. But typically to stitch to go to town or to go to the city, no, because the kids just are, they don't let you do that because they're either fighting or, calling, saying they need your help or whatever. It's just too distracting when you're going on shorter trips. But the longer trips where we're settled in, then yes, I stitch in the car. But I typically just stitch here at home. So that is my Teresa tag. Thank you, Teresa, for those questions, and I hope they help you. I know I'm late, but that is just the way it goes sometimes. I hope everyone is doing well, and I'm going to be doing a couple more tags this week. Hopefully I'll be able to do one a day. Take care, everybody, and happy stitching, and I'll see you again. Okay, bye-bye.